I should be saying that on the beginning of all my videos. I think I make it seem like it's so easy for you guys to keep and breed them, and I realize to an extent that that's only because it's easy for me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it might not be as easy for some of you. And I'm not saying that they're hard fish. I'm just saying that it depends on each person's experience level. You know, so I have friends that have been keeping fish for like 10, 20 years. I'm not worried about one of them getting these fish. But if it's somebody that has never kept a South American fish, you know,
Produced by Mali.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2021. I just want to wish you guys a Happy New Year before I say anything else, because it's going to be a great year, 2021. All of you, I wish you happiness, health, wealth, success, and prosperity, and lots of baby fish. Now, in today's video, we're going to be looking at something quite controversial, and that's another type of animal that is potentially going extinct in the wild. So this fish in question is the L82 Scoby ancestral species. It's a Scoby ancestris that comes from the Rio Zingu, similar to the zebra plecos, but not over collected like the zebra plecos. They're not highly in demand because only like experienced fish keepers and really high-end collectors can afford these fish because they're quite expensive. Even the ones here in Canada sell for about between $500 and $600 for a 6-inch fish. So they're about $100 an inch per fish. So if a 2-inch fish, it's about $200 Canadian. So very similar price to the zebra plecos, and a similar conundrum as the zebra plecos, not in terms of collection, but in terms of habitat destruction. So because people have destroyed their habitat, their rivers, by building dams, by agriculture, farming practices, mining, and pollution and other things, their natural breeding environments and their natural habitat is pretty much destroyed to a large extent. And with the dams and stuff, a lot of the places where they used to breed is now under a lake. Okay, so the river is no longer flowing how it's used to, and so this is a real problem the Rio Zingu has, and this is a real reason why we cannot keep buying wild-caught zebra plecos, because they're being over-collected, and also there's already environmental pressures on the animal. So over-collection plus habitat destruction just means guaranteed extinction. Okay, now with the L82 Scoby ancestris, they're not over-collected. About 100-200 fish do get collected every year, and they are sold legally through legal channels to different people in Europe and Canada and the US. Now, I know how many fish are showing up in the market because last year, I'm friends with pretty much all the importers in the US, the main ones at least, and pretty much everybody else that's bringing fish to Canada. Okay, anytime an L82 comes into their facility, they always send me a message for some reason, because they all believe that I can breed these animals. This is like the 10th time somebody offered me L82s in the last 12 months. So every few months, somebody will message me, or like usually it will be 2-3 people at the same time message me saying, hey, I got like 5 L82s, you know, do you want them? And they're usually about $500 each, or $200-300 for the small guys. If it's 3 inches, it's about $300. Now, I'm not into buying captive wild fish that are smuggled, but I am into buying wild fish that come with paperwork, right? So in this context, I do want these fish. They do come with paperwork. I'm not paying $600 a fish. The person that acquired the fish for me wants to give me the fish for cost, okay? So basically all I'm paying for is the shipping cost from Brazil to Canada, and all the paperwork and customs costs that the person had to incur to get the fish from Brazil to Canada legally. Now, in that context, I'm getting a really good deal. The market value for these 7 fish is about $3,500. So there's 7 of them, and I want to get all 7. Obviously, I'm not going to get 1 or 2 because there's no point getting 1 or 2. If you want to breed them, you should at least get 7 to 10 fish minimum. Okay, so I'm going to get all 7 of them, and I have a tank set up and everything, but it's still bothering me. So I want to know what you guys think. Comment below and let me know if you think I should get these endangered or critically endangered animals that are legally available to me as a part of the breeding program. Now, secondarily, I want to say, when I do successfully breed them, and even with the zebra plecos, a lot of people message me and ask me to buy them, and usually I don't respond to a lot of them because I'm not gonna sell endangered animals to people that are not gonna be able to take care of them. So if you've never kept Plecos before, if you don't know anything about Plecos in general, if you don't have experience keeping some of the other easy to obtain hype ancestors, then chances are you're not gonna get any fish from me, like not these guys, because I just don't think it's fair for an endangered animal to go into the hands of somebody that is not able to take care of them. So you gotta look at it like how a zoo would look at it. Now imagine if my facility was a zoo. So I want you guys to comment and let me know what you think I should do. Should I get them or should I get other fish? I mean, I have the choice of spending all my fish budget on 7 fish, or I can splurge on like 30-40 different fish of various species, and just say, you know what, I'll have $400 left to buy fish food and do other things, or $500 left to do that. That's essentially my dilemma. So comment below and let me know what your thoughts are, and also if you think I should be getting the L82 and also why, and if you don't think I should be getting them and also why, because I really want to know. Just a simple answer might be enough, but it's good to know why you think the way you think. I always explain to you why I think the way I think, and I like to know why you think the way you think. So comment below and let me know. Now, as far as these particular fish are concerned, they are not over collected. They're not as in demand as the zebra plecos. There's an extremely high demand for these guys, okay? And there's also a lot of inexperienced fish keepers that want these particular fish because they look nice, okay? The L82 also looks nice to me, but to a person that's an amateur, the L82 is not something that looks nice. The only people that will find the L82 attractive is experienced keepers and collectors and hobbyists. So people that have been keeping Plecos for like 10-12 years, or fish for like even longer maybe, they will be like, wow, these fish are awesome. But an average person might look at them and say, ugly Pleco, what is that, right? And also, they're not an easy fish to take care of by an inexperienced fish keepers, because they actually are hyper carnivores. So they're a true carnivorous animal. They're even more carnivorous than the zebra plecos, and they need to eat a diet that is pretty much predominantly meat and mussels and snails and stuff like that. So I'm quite excited to actually work with them and potentially breed them. So if I do end up getting them, I'm gonna actually do my best to breed them, and I'm not too concerned about that part because these guys are breeding. And they come from the same river, same exact water parameters, and I can literally just take half of this water, which is what I did today, and put it into the other tank, and do the same thing I'm doing here, and have the same conditions, same temperature, same pH, same TDS, same levels of nitrates, pretty stable, and I can give them the exact same conditions. It's almost as I put them in the same tank, right? But I'm not going to do that because obviously that's not smart. You want to keep animals in their own tank, especially with these particular types of fish, because it's just, they're too rare to take a risk. What if one gets attacked by another one? Like what if one of the Scobie ancestors decides to eat one of my female zebra plecos? You know what I mean? They're both critically endangered, right? The Scobie ancestors is not on the ICU and red list yet, so they're not considered critically endangered on paper, but the reality is, because of what's going on in the river, they are also endangered. And the reason the zebra plecos are more critically endangered than Scobie ancestors is because of the high demand in the pet trade. So illegal smuggling and stealing fish from the river by unlicensed collectors, and by collecting more than what the river can produce sustainably over time, is how we're losing these animals, and why they're actually not available legally. Okay, so if everybody stopped buying illegally caught fish, zebra plecos, we will actually have legal options to get zebra plecos eventually. But we all have to say, you know what, I'm not going to buy illegally captured and smuggled fish. And then when we stop doing that, the population in the river could potentially recover, and then they could open the market and say every year we're going to send out 300 fish. I mean, they'll be expensive, but for somebody like me who's breeding them, that wild genes would be quite essential. It would really make a difference in my gene pool and to actually the long-term survival of the species. So these animals cannot go extinct in the wild for us to save them. If we are to save them, we also have to breed them in captivity and also protect the wild population 100%. The same thing applies for the Scobie ancestors. So they are sending out several hundred fish every year, and with papers and everything, and they do show up in different importer lists and stuff like that. I've been offered this particular fish like maybe 10, 12 times in the last 12 months by different importers, and every single time I said no because they were so expensive, first of all, and then second of all for the ethical ramifications. But this time I'm not saying yes or no yet, because I'm actually considering, because I'm getting the fish a lot cheaper than commercial prices, and I'm only paying for the shipping and the paperwork and other little expenses that the people had to incur to get the fish to me, and they are coming through legal means, so I'm not too concerned about doing something unethical. Now also, I got a barrage of messages yesterday after I posted a small clip of one of the fish I'm getting. So I just posted a little teaser clip picture, I think, on Facebook. And I got messages from two types of people. One type of people were the importers and sellers mainly, and they were all saying, oh, so you have double standards. You say not to buy wild zebra plecos, but you're now buying wild L82s. So here's the difference. Zebra plecos are over-harvested. If they were not over-harvested, then I would not have a problem with anybody buying, the 200 wild fish that come out of the river every year. I wouldn't have a problem with that if they were legally collected and sent out with the proper paperwork, and not some shady pet store owner that's just trying to make a quick buck, you know what I mean, by buying illegal fish and selling to somebody that is not even going to know how to take care of them. There's a lot of inexperienced and uneducated people in the world. What can you do, right? So when people are not well educated or well versed in what's actually going on, they think that everybody that's trying to do something good is against them. Nobody's against anybody, okay? What we are trying to do is save the animals. So for me to save these animals from going extinct, if I keep collecting from the wild, there's no point of me breeding them and trying to save them, because at some point this gene pool gets saturated and our entire captive gene pool gets saturated. If there's no wild blood coming in, it becomes quite difficult to keep these animals alive long term over several generations. So the first generation, fine. Second generation, fine. By third generation, you're going to start seeing deformities. And even if you don't see deformities, then you're going to start seeing deformities in their babies. And, they're going to start carrying some of the inherent problems that gene pool might have, right? So these are things to consider, and that's why we need to save the animals in the wild from going extinct as well, and also increase the captive population by extensive breeding programs. So that's the part of my channel, and that's why I make these videos. I'm pretty sure I pissed off all the breeders by giving all the secrets to you guys throughout last year, and I pissed off all the importers, or most of them at least, by telling them not to bring wild zebra plecos and calling out on the people that are smuggling fish, okay? So, I mean, let's not call it anything else. They are smuggling fish. They are smuggling rhinos or zebras, or you wouldn't buy ivory, so then why buy a smuggled zebra? An L82 is not a complete different story from a zebra. An L82 is not over collected in that sense, because there's not that much demand for them. So they do collect a small amount and send it to us legally, okay? Now that might change in the future, that might change this year. All this could change at any moment, but right now, this is the law. I checked the ICU and red list, it's all available online, and the fish are not on it, and there's no restrictions for me to buy it, trade it, or carry it across provincial borders, okay? With these guys, I can sell them across provincial borders as long as they were born in Canada, but we can't bring wild fish into the country. And if you are bringing fish from an importer, like from a breeder outside in Europe or Asia, I mean, I've tried to bring fish in. It's a lot of paperwork and it costs a lot of money. But I am looking into bringing fish from some of the importers, some of the breeders in Asia, and some of the breeders in Europe. So if you guys do want captive-born zebra plecos here in Canada from some of the farms out there, comment below and let me know that you are interested, and send me a private message on my Facebook or through Instagram or whatever, so I have you on the list and I can let you know when I can get them, because I'm looking at it, and if there's enough demand, I can actually get 100 fish from Belen's farm or another farm in Asia, most likely from Belen's, because we have good rapport. So I can just say, or I can just call a breeder in Europe, like my friend Thomas, and say, you know what, send me 100 fish, and I can get a good price and get you guys the fish for a decent price, including shipping and everything. Obviously the price is going to increase when they get here. I do want to get the L82s, but I want to know what you guys think first. So comment below and give me your opinions, and let me know what your thoughts are in the whole thing, whether you think I should get them and why, whether you think I should not get them and why, and whether do you think I have a double standard because I'm saying one thing about one fish and another thing about another fish, but they're completely different fish. One is in the ICU and red list, critically endangered, and or collected for the aquarium trade. The other one is not in the ICUN red list, not critically endangered, at least not on paper yet, and it's not over collected for the aquarium trade because obviously there's not as much demand for them as these guys. Now, having said that, I do have the tank ready. You probably saw me cutting off the metal light that was rusted onto the glass, and so I dremeled it out, and that's probably the beginning of the video. You probably see that. And so now, having said that, I do have a complete tank ready right beside their tank, and the water is going to be the exact same, the temperature is going to be the exact same, the pH is going to be the exact same. So if these guys are breeding, chances are those guys are also going to breed for me. And these guys are breeding for me. There's actually, I think, 10 or 11 regulars in this box. I think there's 10. I mean, there could be more. I'm not really doing that. Like, I checked a couple of times, you know, took a little video clip. That's it. I'm not going to stress them out too much. These are captive born animals, born out of captive born parents. So my fish that are breeding are captive borns. And they are exceptional parents. They're actually better parents than some of my wild fish. Actually, they're better parents than all of my wild fish. No eggs were kicked out of this cave. He didn't eat any eggs. There was probably a small clutch of 10 or 11 eggs, and they all hatched. And he didn't hurt any of them. He didn't break any of the eggs when I was looking in there. I was able to look in there. I was able to film in there. He didn't panic. These guys are a big difference for me. Personally, I like keeping and breeding captive born animals because they work better, they are easy to keep and breed, they eat easily and all that stuff. But with an experience that I have, I can keep these L82 wild caught fish, and I'm not too worried. But the average person shouldn't be getting any of these fish. I mean, I should be saying that on the beginning of all my videos. I think I make it seem like it's so easy for you guys to keep and breed them. And I realize to an extent that that's only because it's easy for me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it might not be as easy for some of you. And I'm not saying that they're hard fish. I'm just saying that it depends on each person's experience level. You know, so I have friends that have been keeping fish for like 10, 20 years. I'm not worried about one of them getting these fish. But if it's somebody that has never kept a South American fish, you know, so these are real issues. So because of this, I don't personally like selling fish to inexperienced people. I don't usually respond to most people that are asking me for zebra plecos. I do sell some of my other plecos, even then not to inexperienced people. And but with the sebs, I'm only gonna sell sebs, or I only sell sebs to people that are gonna breed them, and people that I know for sure are gonna be able to take care of them long term. If I feel like they are not experienced, same thing applies. Same thing applies for my puppies. I had 6 puppies last year, and I caught like over 3,000 people messaged me for my puppies, and I picked 6 people. You know what I mean? I checked backgrounds, criminal history, work history. I checked their family dynamics. If it's a husband and wife, I want to meet both, and the children and the puppies at the same time when they were coming to see the puppies. So I did all of this to make sure that my animals were well taken care of when they went to their new home. And all 6 puppies are now doing great. I get pictures of them all the time. I get they all have Instagrams and all that good jazz. So I mean, this is what an ethical breeder does. So if you are in the market and you're trying to buy any of these fish too, find an ethical breeder. There's so many of us out there, you know, and contact them, become their friend, and buy the fish from them. Now, as far as today's video goes, I haven't 100% decided to get the L82s. This is why I made the video for you guys, to know what your thoughts are, and also, you know, your opinions on this entire thing. So we'll be looking at a lot of this type of things in 2021, as well as breeding a lot more of these animals. And if you guys have any questions about breeding zebra plecos, please comment below and let me know. And also, please feel free to check out my zebra pleco breeding guide. It's quite extensive, and I will be making a fry raising guide next. And so that should help us out, help you guys out, get you started. And if you do have fry and you want to know how to raise them, I do have other hype ancestors fry raising videos on the channel, so you guys can check those out as well. I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I would like to know exactly what your thoughts are on this matter, because your opinion matters to me. So as always, I just want to say thank you so much for staying tuned until the end of the video, and a happy new year 2021. I'll see you on the next video. God bless you all.